Welcome back to Focus Today, and what a delight and an honor to have back with us. Certainly somebody you have seen a lot of and heard a lot of, and hopefully you've read his book, and especially his latest one, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. We are delighted to have with us today Dick Moore. It's good to see you again, friend. How you doing?
Well, good to be back here.
Thank you. Well, listen, have you ever seen anything like this? What a mess. What do you think of the big announcement on Friday?
I've never seen an election like this. It's absolutely incredible. Well, the fact is that before Friday, Trump was moving up and had basically tied the race by Thursday. ABC had Hillary 12 ahead on Monday, and on Friday, which included Thursday night interviews, had her only 2 ahead. Now they have Trump 1 ahead. And it's a moving average that they do. So it's more than just one particular day. Now, the reason he was moving up before is important because that's going to endure beyond the Comey investigation, which itself may endure. First was that people were getting the Obamacare rate increases, and they were becoming aware of those. They won't actually be mailed out until starting today. Many will get them after the election, but voters had gotten the news that their premiums would go up 25 to 50%, and Trump began hammering on that. He's continuing to do that today. And that, I think, was significant. Secondly, in the swing states, the Trump negative ads began to hit. Until then, the only negatives had been Hillary's against him. And now there's a very effective Benghazi ad out, a very effective email ad out, and I think those are sapping Hillary's vote. I think finally the cascade of WikiLeaks stuff, into the Podesta emails, and particularly the memo from Doug Band, Bill's chief of staff, which ironically came about because Chelsea accused Band of shortchanging her father and not giving him all the money that he should get. And then Band righteously wrote a 13-page memo detailing the $60 million in fees that he'd gotten for President Clinton. And that then became fodder and kind of a roadmap to the pay-for-play stuff. So then when Comey's reopening of the investigation hit on Friday, that just continued a trend that had been going on for the week. And then, of course, the other announcement, which has not received as much publicity, but is potentially more important than the email announcement, was the Wall Street Journal story that the FBI is investigating the Clinton Foundation, and that there were 4 offices that are working on investigating it. And the Wall Street Journal points out that the Justice Department has been urging the FBI not to investigate that, has denied them permission to get a search warrant, denied them permission to impanel a grand jury. But nevertheless, the FBI agents themselves and the individual U.S. attorneys who have some latitude they see the situation as so potentially corrupt that they're forging ahead on their own with an investigation, 4 of them, in fact. And I think we haven't heard the last of that. That's going to be leaking out over the course of the next week. So I think this has really changed the election fundamentally. We don't yet know if this is an atomic bomb. We just know that it's a bomb. But in the next 2 days, the polling, which, as I said, is a 4-day moving average, will begin to reflect it even more so. Today's batch of polls, which include one night before Comey's announcement, the night of the Comey announcement, the weekend, and Monday, show one poll is tied, the other shows Trump up by 1, the other shows Hillary up by 1. So it's clearly a tied race right now. I think tomorrow's polls will show Hillary behind and Trump ahead. And then that could widen as the week goes on. Pat Goodell, who I respect a lot, said that he thinks the dam has broken. And now voters are going to flood over to Trump.
Well, there's a lot in there. Let me ask you a couple things here, Dick. One is, do you think the contributors to the Clinton Foundation are kind of shaking in their boots for being exposed?
Well, yeah, but they've also been exposed before that as her campaign donors and her donors to the last campaign and Bill's donors and donors to her Senate campaign. They've got big boots to shake in. Many of them are foreign countries. Many of them are major corporations. I think that as the FBI investigation narrows to specific examples of play-by-play, I mean pay-for-play, then there may be some shaking going on. But this is a pretty tough bunch of guys.
Do you think the mutinous spirit within the FBI is one of the motivations behind that, and do you think it still exists?
Yes, and I wouldn't call it mutinous. I'd call it independent. The FBI, of course, as an organization, has its own leadership, its own discipline, its own ethic. And the Justice Department, those are political appointees who come and go. And even within the Justice Department, you have the Attorney General and her top aides who are political, and then you have the staff that is not political and very proud of it. So I think that really it would be fair to say it's Loretta Lynch and her people against the entire, almost united bureaucracy of the Justice Department and the FBI.
How can Hillary possibly govern if she wins with this hanging over her head?
Well, as she always does, by ignoring it. She's well experienced at that. And Bill is well experienced. I mean, my God, if he could sort of govern during the Lewinsky scandal, you could govern through anything. But I don't think she's going to have that opportunity. I think that it's becoming increasingly likely, although not certain, that Trump is going to win. We can't make a prediction in this race. God knows it's way too volatile, way too fluid. I think Hillary's handling this all wrong, by the way. I think she's spending her time denouncing the FBI, linking it to the Russians, linking it to a Republican plot, doing all kinds of vast right-wing conspiracy stuff. I think instead she should forget about it and just go out and make positive proposals of what she'd do as president. By making her talk about this as well as Trump, it's making it the major issue in the election, and there's no way Hillary comes out ahead on this.
650,000 emails found on a laptop. I mean, that's unbelievable. You wonder if the 33,000 missing are there. But the fact that those emails are on a private laptop of, well, Anthony Weiner, but on that laptop, and if any of those emails came from her server, we got a problem. I mean, there's a conviction right there.
It's pretty clear that what Huma Abedin, Hillary's aide, was give Weiner all of those emails, and then she could tell the FBI she didn't have any left in her possession, and she didn't imagine that they would seize Weiner's computer because of the sexting investigation. So that was a real surprise to her. I think the really interesting thing will be that list, that 650, probably includes a lot of Hillary's deleted emails that were preserved on the iCloud. And I suspect that you're going to see that Hillary ordered the deletion of a number of emails that were in fact classified and top secret. And that exposes her not just to the charge of carelessness and not just to the charge of mishandling documents, but actually to the charge of obstructing justice.
James Comey under a lot of heat, obviously. One day he's the Republican hero, the next day he's the Republican villain, and vice versa with the Democrats. But now, between now and the election, everybody's calling for him to produce something that justifies the move. You think he will?
Well, be careful what they wish for. If he releases the emails, we'll see a lot of brand new material about the pay for play. We'll probably see emails that show violations of national security. I think that, on the one hand, Comey is under pressure to say nothing there, sorry to have bothered you. On the other hand, he's under pressure to say, well, I had to bother you because look at how significant this is. And I think probably what he'll do is play it down the middle and tell the truth. It's also possible he says nothing and just lets the investigation proceed and communicates with the world through leaks. And I think that's probably the more likely thing. And Hillary has to be very careful about the pressure she applies to Comey, because he literally controls her destiny right now.
Wow. Dick, I know you got to go. One quick question. I know that you're considered one of the best vote counters and poll watchers out there. And now we got the Electoral College, and I know that's going to put, looks like he's doing okay in Ohio, Florida. Maybe you have some comments there. Pennsylvania, Nevada, North Carolina. What do you think?
Well, for an overview of this, my book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, goes through the math. But you start with the fact that if Romney carried 206 votes worth, and if Trump carries all of those states, he's 64 votes short. You need 270. Now, North Carolina is in doubt, and that's a state that Romney carried. But it looks like Trump has pulled out a lead in North Carolina. Then you have Florida, which Romney lost by 0.9 of a point, and Ohio, which he lost by 1.5 points. And both of those look like they're falling in line for Trump. Now, if he carries North Carolina and Florida and Ohio, he'll be 17 electoral votes short. And that looks doable. He's 6 behind. There's 6 votes in Nevada, and he's tied. There are 6 votes in Iowa, and he's 2 ahead. And he certainly is competitive in Pennsylvania, which has 20 votes. That would end it right there. Colorado, and perhaps a couple of other states. But I think that probably as the national numbers clarify and as these moving averages show Trump taking the lead, I think he'll be okay in the Electoral College. But again, this race is, I just turned down somebody that wanted me to tape an interview today to run on Sunday night. And I said, are you kidding me?
Wow. Yeah, it's that smart move. One other thing, what about Utah? I mean, this is kind of a wild card in Utah with the Mormon running.
Yeah, I mean, that's conceivable, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Look, either we can rule out Hillary going away landslide victory now. At the moment, it's a tie race. As more data comes in, we'll see the dimensions of the potential Trump victory. If, in fact, it remains a tie race, then all of this becomes relevant. But if it's only tie en route to showing a good Trump margin, which I think may be the case, none of this electoral state stuff matters. And a lot of states you'd never imagine coming into play, like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and even Minnesota, come into play.
Even with the revelations now of Jim Comey doing what he's done on Friday, isn't it kind of scary about the condition of our culture that she would still be a possibility winner?
Well, she's gotten away with a lot. The real question is the bankruptcy of the Democratic Party in nominating someone who has this kind of baggage. I mean, they had the whole country to choose from, and they chose the one person who had more baggage than anybody else. Now, the Republicans did likewise, but as I've always said, Trump's baggage is what he said. Hillary's baggage is what she's done. And it's easy to change what you said, and Trump's doing that. You can't change what you've done, and the Hillary emails are proving that. But in terms of our national institutions, let's just sit back and celebrate the independence of the judicial branch that we're seeing right now.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Dick, for your time. We value it greatly. I know you're really busy. DickMorris.com. You can go there and check out his book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. And this is a great read. You want to check it out at the bookstores. Let's stay in touch. And I won't ask you to predict Sunday.
Don't ask me to predict the weather either.
Yeah. Good to see you. Thanks, my friend. Have a great day.
Or the Cubs, Cleveland.
What's that?
No. Well, the Cubs against Cleveland. No predictions here.
Oh, I'm with you. We can only hope. Let's hope. Okay. Thanks, Dick. Good to see you. We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.